Okay, everybody, we are live on YouTube. This is very exciting. Hello, everybody. Okay, first, we always have to tell our amazing social media Wednesday that we are live on YouTube. Okay. All right. Here. Woo!
Hey.
We did it.
Okay,
everybody. We are live on YouTube. This is very exciting. Okay, hold on. Hold on. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it too. Okay, that's doing that thing. Raymond, you and I get to talk.
Okay. Love it.
All right. Okay, hello everybody. If you're just joining, Facebook isn't cooperating today, so we're on YouTube. I'm Rose Chastain. I'm the co-founder of Your Natural Healthcare, and with me, I'm lucky enough to have Raymond Ussery. Yay, Raymond.
Okay.
Raymond is the founder of Love is Our Religion, or Love is My Religion. And this is what I wanted to say about Raymond. Besides being one of my favorite humans in the planet and an extraordinary man and husband, he's inspiring. He became a love activist. And he says, with all the hate in the media, let's talk about love. So Love is My Religion is a 501c3, and the mission is to create a world where love wins. Our vision is a world where people act from acceptance, kindness, and mindfulness. Raymond Ussery is a board member, the founder, executive director. He is a creative, trusted senior manager with more than 20 years of B2B experience. He was a board member for Highland Area Food Bank, former board member for Unity of Phoenix, former board member for Free Arts for Abused Children. God, saying former board member is hard thing to say.
It's a tongue twister, yeah.
It is. So if those of you who are not lucky enough to have Raymond in your life, you should know he is an extraordinary man. And one of the coolest things about you, Raymond, is the way that you love your wife. Just makes me so happy. You never lose any power. Like, you always occur like a very strong, grounded man. And at the same time, you just adore her. It's so inspiring to see the way that the two of you are together. And you really provide a lot of leadership for and an example for men in the world and couples in the world. So thanks for being that human in my life.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And you are a delight in your own right, Rose, that you put this out and that you're about healing and supporting people and being true to themselves. You're an absolutely reliable source for me. And it is, well, Karen is an inspiration and my partner and my true love. It's when I engage with people like you that's like, oh yeah, there are other people out there who are inspiring and powerful, just like Karen. So it's a positive feedback loop. I'll say that about it. So thank you for having me on the show.
My pleasure. I think we should coin that, the positive feedback loops.
Oh, service mark.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of, why we started Your Natural Healthcare, is because, well, everyone was going crazy about finally cannabis was going to be legal. We decided to go the direction of healing and the healing products, and discovered about hemp and CBD, which is, non-psychoactive and also healing. And so we designed the whole business to be one where we support non-allopathic care providers. They can make money, they can educate, and we can ride the coattails of something that's very popular. I mean, CBD is in the news all the time. Everyone talks about CBD. Movie stars use CBD, all that stuff. So let's use that to publicize the benefit and the richness of the work that people like you do. So that is really the purpose of this. Awesome.
And just my personal experience with CBD, you didn't ask me to share about this, but I will. Yeah. It's been like probably a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I had some dental surgery and they sent me home after the anesthesia. They sent me home. They sent me off to someone had to drive me to the drugstore to get oxycodone.
Oh, shit.
And I, was in my still anesthesia stupor reading about oxycodone. I'm like, I don't know that this is going to, and also I was just worried about it. Yeah. So I had that same person drive me off to the store and I got a bunch of CBD And I
Yeah.
started using that as I was coming off of anesthesia to reduce the pain, and it absolutely worked for me.
It's really amazing. Thank you for saying that. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that is a great story. It's I think people should use it for all sorts of things like that. I've had my back has been out. I slept on it weird, so I'm using that. I'm using the spray daily for calm, just keeping me kind of calm and relaxed and not so much anxious. I mean, many benefits. It's really cool. It's that sort of that wasn't my intention to run this commercial, but it's turning
Yeah.
so I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Well, so while we're on the note, before I jump in and ask you some of these questions I wanted to ask, I
Yeah,
wanted
please.
to remind everybody that this is we are running a promotion just based for the people who watch these videos and making it available. So if you watch this video and go to your natural health care, type in the code holistic, and that will give you 20% off plus free shipping. So there's my plug.
Nice.
All right, so now let's jump into the juicy things here.
All right.
So when I was preparing for talking to you and this interview, and just excited to create this aspect of our relationship, I was reading different parts of your website, and one of the things it said is that you practice that love always wins. And I'm sorry, I can't remember where exactly on the website that I saw that, but that
Mhm.
quote sort of stuck with me. And you know, people have all sorts of practices like meditation, or you know, I have a practice in the morning that I do, and it's an Ayurvedic practice, and I hold water in my mouth and think of all the bad energy and juju and put it into the water, and then I go and spit it out. You know, so there's
Hmm.
all sorts of practices that people have, and then I have a whole bunch of other ones. But tell me, what does it look like to practice that love always wins?
Yeah, for me, it's love is my religion. It's different for everyone, and sometimes in my conversations with people about love is my religion, they get hooked on the religion part, like there is a specific way, doctrine, dogma, something like that. But it really is love is my religion is more movement and an invitation for people to meditate in whatever form of meditation works for you, to find that place of love for yourself and then to come from there. So sometimes it's a joy, sometimes it's a pain in the ass. But for me, it is a meditative practice.
Mm.
But exploring with the board and with various volunteers around Love is My Religion, we've developed a number of practices, and the practices evolved organically and were an expression of. I'm thinking of a volunteer I was working with in Phoenix, and they said that their access to living love in the world, not meditation, not prayer, not singing, which are accesses for other people, but for them, if they when they look a stranger in the eye and
Mm,
and ask them how they're doing,
yeah.
that was their access to love for themselves and living love in the world. And of course, with family members, they specifically underscored strangers. But it's so to follow that up, we developed a number of practices. We post them on our website. So for people who aren't going to actually create a personal project of love, which is
Mm,
something we invite our volunteers to do. If they're not going to do that, some project out in the world, like one of the board members did a yoga project, invited a bunch of strangers to do yoga, and then afterwards sat and had tea and talked about the heart opening that yoga is. So that was a way to put more love in the world, to have people practice living love. But for other folks, yeah, just saying hi
yeah.
and access to love.
What is there anything else about that? Any other practices?
Oh, let's see. I'm thinking of well, it goes back to meditation, but practicing acceptance. So sort of like the way you mentioned holding water in your mouth. So holding a thought of acceptance in your mind as you proceed, as you go throughout your day, telling someone, a separate practice, telling someone that you love them,
Mm,
friend, family member, finding, here's one of the challenges, finding an appropriate way in today's work environment. Imagine you work in some sort of corporate environment, finding a way to express love for a coworker in a completely appropriate fashion that isn't going to have them press the HR button as someone's being weird in the office. So actually having that as a practice. Um, Sending a letter
Mm.
For those of you who don't remember, it's you write on a piece of paper and you fold it up and you stick it in an envelope. It's like actually, taking a moment, which writing itself for many is a meditation. Handwriting itself
Mm.
can be a meditation for folks, but taking that time to go inward and put a few words down on paper and sending that to someone. Back in the old days when I was a kid, they might call it a pen pal,
Yes,
but that as a practice of living love.
that's extraordinary.
Yeah, yeah. And I have to mention our I think our chief vehicle for living love as an organization, so different from personal practices, our chief vehicle for living love, we call them the be heard events. And our intention around these be heard events is to have just what it says, is to have people be heard. And we find that as an access to love.
Mm.
So we've done them with men and women, and how the model is we have this model of listening presented by Otto Sharma. He's written a book called Theory U, incredible. But we set up an introduction so people understand this is how we want to have you practice listening.
Mm.
And then the men share, or women, in this case, it was the men share what it's like to be a man in the world. And the
Mm.
women don't speak, they write down questions, they pass them to the moderator, and the moderator presents the questions to the men. And what naturally happens is as though the men are just speaking to men the way men talk when there are just men around.
Yeah.
We took a break, we switched the process so then just the women were speaking and just the men were listening. And it was as though the men disappeared from the room. They were just listening to this very intimate and beautiful conversation. And at the end of all that, we came together and we did a bit of a, hey, what did everybody learn? What did you hear newly that you perhaps never heard before? And that's an example of a practice of living love, getting more love out in the world. And the intention is to do that with all different groups. Later, before the presidential election, we'll do at least two events where we have a Be Heard event with conservatives and liberals.
Wow.
Later on, we'll have events with the transgender community and those who aren't transgender to give those groups a chance to interact and be heard. And then for folks, people watching this video, if you have comments about groups you would love to participate in or you would like to hear of a Be Heard event for two specific groups, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
That's awesome. I mean, say how they can reach out to you.
Oh, a couple of ways. So you can simply send an email to Raymond at limr.us. You could navigate your way to www.limr.us. Those are probably we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, but those are probably the quickest ways is drop me an email or go to our website.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And this is off topic. So if you want to, maybe have this be a different conversation, and another point, I'm open for that. But I wanted to know if you would say more about what it is to be a man in these times. I was watching the news this morning, or it was on in the background, and I was not watching.
Yeah.
But what got through in
Yeah.
my coffee stupor, or my just awake stupor, was oh goodness, now I'm blanking on his name. um uh the man running for Democratic president. Jeez Louise.
Joe Biden?
Thank you. My God,
Yeah.
I could see his face, not that, but everything he's
Sure.
dealing with that accusation. And I know many of the men that I work with are afraid to express themselves and express love,
Hmm.
because any action that seems open or loving or connected could get them in trouble. And I know that it's been hard for men in society for a while because their place isn't as defined as it used to be.
Hmm.
And so there's that, and then there's the Me Too, all of which I celebrate, and I'm grateful for silence ending and people
Yes.
expressing themselves and being listened to for the first time ever, maybe. But I know for a lot of the men that are in my life and that are around, it's dangerous and scary.
Hmm.
So I don't know if you have something to speak to the men and the healers and the lovers, like my partner William
Hmm.
seems so tough on the outside, or so gregarious on the outside, but is very soft in the middle. Is a very loving, gentle man. And he doesn't get to express his love for people very often because it's not safe. So is there something
Yeah.
you could contribute to men?
Well, I hope what I'm about to say will contribute, and that is there's the so brothers, if we tune in for just a moment and imagine the path that women have had to walk uh, over the millennia, over the just as far back as you want to go, we're having an opportunity to walk that same path ourselves. To some people will leap all the way to, oh, I've got to get in touch with my feminine side. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this search that we're on to express ourselves appropriately. I'm thinking of, I work in technology. I'm thinking of the women I work with, how in a number of cases, just the things that they have to deal with. In a sense, we're just starting to deal with those same things. Like, how do we express ourselves in the workplace where we can come across as our authentic selves? I don't have an easy answer. I point to some great teaching by Brene Brown about entering a brave space. A lot of people talk about, well, if I can just create a safe space at work or with my coworkers, I'll be able to express myself appropriately. But it is more like creating a brave space, knowing that you're going to mess up, that whether or not you show it on your face, you're going to be hurt. You may make mistakes. Hopefully, the mistakes won't be huge, but the pendulum may swing one way and then the other, but you'll find that appropriate center ground and at least be able to be true to yourself. And I'm trying to think of an example. So that's all theory, like advice from an uncle. But in terms of some specific, in this time of COVID, a lot of video conferencing, I've been able to say, I'm about to say this poorly. I hope it doesn't go poorly. And then I would say, it's great seeing you. And thinking of a female coworker, it's great seeing you. I'm glad we're working on this project together. And I don't know, I have no way of knowing, because you can't crack someone's brain open and see, well, how did that land? What's really going to happen? Is
Yeah.
there an email being simultaneously typed to human resources saying Raymond was being creepy and coming on to me?
Yes.
I don't know, but that is I thought what I was saying was thoughtful. So I took the time to not, some people are great at talking off the top of their heads, but it's like, this is a time to, until it's ingrained, to take a breath and think, well, what am I trying to communicate here? And then to take the chance and communicate it, because to just stuff it back down as a man, it's like, need no training in that. That's the way our dads did it and our grandfathers did it. And historically, it didn't seem to work well for them. So that's what I have for you, brothers. I hope that works for you.
Oh, it's such a gift, Raymond. Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, now back to our scheduled program.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so here's my next question, which is, loving somebody or being present to love really can leave you open for hurt. Like you were just talking about stuffing it down and many other ways that we have strategized,
Yeah.
and so many people right now are looking specifically for security, for safety. They're anxious, right? So it's, I don't know what your thoughts are on how to practice love and love as a religion and keep your own sense of yourself. Like you can get so, um, I don't know, off balance or open to pain
Mm.
that it makes you just not want to, right? And um, so do you have a practice or where you come from to sort of keep yourself so you don't lose yourself in the midst of all that?
Yeah, and again, I wish it was a one size fits all answer. At least the beginning for me, the beginning introspection. So for me, that was meditation, and through meditation, actually, on meditating on how can I live love in the world, it had me take specific action. The actions I took, I hired a coach. Hey, coach, I want you to coach me. How can I take this vague concept of living love? How can I put that into the world in a way that works for me? So
Mhm,
that was one action.
mhm.
Um, I'm thinking of a couple of folks I know, their action for getting grounded so they can live love in the world. They know they want to do it. but it can be you're vulnerable. It can be painful. They do. I read an article about it months ago. That forest bathing. They're like, okay, and then live here in the Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
So it's like after they're done with their day, after their Herculean effort of attempting to live, love in the world, and
Yeah.
these are folks who have day jobs, so to speak. I'm going to say a regular 9 to 5 job, and
Mhm.
then they do volunteer work and they have a family. They find time to go into a pocket park to walk around amongst the greenery and use that as their way to brush off.
Okay, it looks like we've lost Raymond here. Hold on, we'll buy us some time. See if he comes back. Otherwise, we'll all be forest bathing and brushing off the pain of that. Okay, we will stop and we'll come right back.